What's up everybody, Merry Christmas and welcome back to another video with me, Tom Dollimore. For those of you who are new here, I'm currently the #1 ranked manager on the FPL Research Manager rankings, and this video series is where you can follow my journey throughout this season. Let's jump in and have a look at how I got on in game week 17. So I played the triple captain on Haaland, which was planned for many weeks. And it's paid off very nicely. So I've got a 95 points for this week and a green arrow up to 64k from 116k. So yeah, very nice game week. And just running through the team, we had the double Arsenal defence. So Raya and Timber. Raya with a bonus point, which is nice. You never really see him get more than 6 points, so that's quite nice. Van Dijk, very frustrating. You think the clean sheet's locked in for sure with Spurs going down to 10 men, but that's just the way FPL works sometimes, and yeah, obviously that got knocked out. O'Reilly, first week I've played him since I bought him, and he's come in with 6 points with a clean sheet, so that's very nice. Foden with a slightly disappointing blank. You'd kind of hope, I mean, it's similar to Haaland, you'd kind of hope he absolutely smashes it in a week like this, but he has been delivering in the last few weeks, so you can't expect him to do it every week. But it's one that I don't mind actually, because so many people have got him by now. I think he was 85% owned at my rank, so actually it doesn't really matter what he scores. The change in your rank doesn't really do much. So yeah, I don't mind if anyone's going to blank. I don't mind someone like that blanking. But yeah, 3 points there. Then we've got Cunha coming in again with the goal for 9 points. Super pleased with that, and now I think his ownership's going to skyrocket for other reasons as well. So Bosley, 1 point, and now yellow card and suspended. Yeah, that's a bit annoying, but I did say when I bought him in I knew the risk with a yellow card suspension. So, and it's not that big a deal. Got 5 free transfers, so I've got options, and that's kind of what I factored in when I bought him in. So not a big deal, but disappointing that he's not been getting the points really. Then we've got Bruno Fernandes with 1 pointer and off injured, which for those of you who've been watching, you know he's been my hero. I've been raving about him. He's started delivering the points and now he's gone. So yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. Then up front we've got Thiago, disappointing yet again with 2 points. It doesn't feel so bad for me. I think a lot of people are annoyed about this because a lot of people bought him in and then all he's done is blanked, but I've owned him long enough that I've had some returns from him, so it doesn't feel so bad for me, but it is getting slightly disappointing. And then obviously Haaland coming in with a triple captain, 48 points. Yeah, absolutely chuffed with that. Always love it when the triple captain comes off. I think there's only been one season when my triple captain hasn't. I think it was last season. Might be wrong, there might have been one more, but weighing up Anderson versus Van Dijk, and should have gone with Anderson because he's done so well for me, but it's one of those where I'd have felt really bad if Van Dijk had missed out on the points. Moving on into game week 18 is much the same, or well, almost the same, without any transfers. So we've got Raya in goal, Timber, Arsenal against Brighton at home. We've got Van Dijk against Wolves at home. Surely he gets a clean sheet in that one, surely. O'Reilly, Nottingham Forest at home. Away. Anderson, West Ham away. It's a alright fixture that. Moving into midfield, we got Foden, Nottingham Forest away. Cunha, Newcastle at home. Obviously, that's not a great fixture, but it's the good fixtures that come after that. After that Newcastle game, he's got Wolves home, Leeds away, Burnley away. So that's what that's why we're holding him. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Newcastle away, home. Then we've got Semenyo, Brentford away. The fixture last week was what we were holding Semenyo for. Now he's sitting on 4 yellows as well, but obviously that doesn't affect this week. He's on the hit list. I don't mind the Brentford away fixture, certainly with the other problems I've now got in the team. So yeah, he's still on the list to go. Then yeah, Bruno Fernandes, all of the news we've got currently is that he's going to be out for a number of weeks, so we're going to have to do something with him. I don't actually mind this at this point. If it was a few weeks ago when no one owned him, it would have been a bit frustrating, but now a lot of people have him. It means that I think with the 5 free transfers we had coming in, I think everyone's teams was going to very quickly start looking the same, if not already. So And I think people have realised Bruno Fernandes needed to be part of their team. So this kind of throws it out the door and mixes it up a bit. So I don't mind that. That's the times when there's opportunities for getting ahead in this game. So yeah, I don't really mind it. Then up front we've got Thiago against Bournemouth at home and Haaland Forest away with the armband, which I don't think really needs explaining at this point. That's the team as it stands, and then we've only really got Rodon first bench, Sunderland away, which isn't a horrendous fixture. And it's all about it's all about what I need to do with Bruno Fernandes and Szoboszlai. Now Szoboszlai, I do want to hold him because it's annoying that he misses this Wolves home fixture. After that, he's got Leeds home, Fulham away. There's an Arsenal fixture there, but then he's got Burnley home. So I do want to hold Szoboszlai, and I think he's a great long-term pick when he doesn't go to right back every game. Yeah, I think he's a great long-term pick, and that's even if he doesn't have penalties and Salah plays down the road. I still think if he's playing consistently in midfield or on the wing, I think he's a really good pick long-term. So I just want to hold out for that. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything with Szoboszlai. I think he's going to go on the bench. Bruno Fernandes. Now, what are most people doing that I'm seeing? So most people are finding a way to get Ekitike in. A lot of people for Thiago. I've pretty much ruled that out. I don't think I'm going to do that, and I don't dispute Ekitike being a really good pick in the short term, in isolation. I think yeah, he's absolutely fine. It's more about the way that the good players fall and the way teams are structured right now, and my team's structured right now, and how to get to him. And then because I don't think he's going to be a long-term pick, I'll explain the reasons why in a minute. You've then got to get him back out again, and that's all using transfers that you could use to extract value elsewhere. So the other slight difference in my team is I got Thiago really early, so I can only sell Thiago for 6.6, which means it's slightly harder for me than some to get from Thiago to Ekitike. You've got to do at least a couple of moves to get him in, and then I think around game week 22, maybe 22 to 24, you're going to want Palmer, you're going to want Bruno Fernandes back, and somewhere in the mix you're going to want Gabriel as well. And all of that becomes a lot more difficult to navigate when you've got Ekitike in your team, because you've then got, there's not many options to move Ekitike to, and I just the number of transfers involved in dealing with all that, I prefer other routes with shuffling around the midfield in the short term, and then waiting for that, getting that Bruno Fernandes, Palmer in 22, 24-ish, assuming they both get back to decent minutes by then. But I still think even if you want one of them back down the line, it's a lot easier to do with a lot more, I say it's more optimal in my point of view to plan to do that with your midfield, and there's a lot more midfield options to shuffle around in the short term if you need to. But yeah, that being said, I don't mind Ekitike short term if it works for your team, if you can get there easily, or if you just think he's going to continue to absolutely fly and you like him as a long-term pick and you think he's as good an option or better than Palmer or Bruno, then that's absolutely fine. But personally, I don't think that. And my options, well, there's only really one that I'm going to go for, and it's going to be Bruno Fernandes to Wirtz. And a lot of you may think that's crazy. I think there's enough information out there by now that people realise that it's an option. But yeah, I owned him for a long period at the start of the season. He did absolutely nothing for me, and it seems crazy, but the way that, I mean, he's been getting the minutes recently, and Liverpool have enough injuries and the fixtures in the short term are good, that I think I'm going to do it again. So, and that's the key actually, it is short term. So it's literally just going to be mainly for the Wolves home fixture, the Leeds home fixture, and maybe the Fulham fixture, and then Wirtz will be gone. So, and I've got enough transfers to do that, and when you're doing that kind of move in midfield, you've then got options to go from. So I could then move Wirtz to Bruno Fernandes or Palmer quite easily, whereas doing the same thing with Ekitike requires a lot more restructuring of the team in an efficient way. So on the face of it, Ekitike is probably a slightly better pick than Wirtz, but the data shows that it's not that, it's close. The minutes that Wirtz gets from the injuries, he gets a slight minutes boost from the injuries that Liverpool have now got. So I've got 5 free transfers. That's one of them, to sort Bruno Fernandes out. Obviously, that gives me a bit of money in the bank, and with that money, I think I'm actually going to stick with Thiago for now. Like I said, I can only sell him for 6.6, so it doesn't there's not as much value stored there for me, and I've experienced him actually scoring goals, so I don't feel so bad about him, and I don't mind the Bournemouth home fixture, so I think I'm good with him for now. Yeah, I'd like to invest that money somewhere for the week, and I think what I'm going to do is Anderson, even though he's got the West Ham away fixture and he's been delivering points, I think I'm going to do Anderson to Tarkowski, which also could seem like a bit of a crazy move because Tarkowski's on the 4 yellows, which I've just been burnt by with Szoboszlai. After Anderson's fixtures after this week, they go pretty downhill. I think Tarkowski's still a much better pick than Anderson is for this week, because Tarkowski got that Burnley away fixture, which I know Anderson's got the West Ham away fixture, but I think Everton's overall a slightly better defensive team. I think Tarkowski's slightly better with his defensive numbers, and I think Burnley are worse than West Ham in terms of their attacking output. So I think all of those factors combined, Tarkowski's an upgrade. And then I do like him in 21 in 4 weeks. He's got that Wolves fixture as well. So I know the risk of potential suspension in the next 2 weeks. But again, the same as Szoboszlai, I've got enough transfers. I've got enough cover to deal with that. So I think that's going to be my second move, is Anderson to Tarkowski. And then there is a third option, which is Semenyo to Schade. I've wanted to buy Schade for ages. It never seems to be the right time. For a while he was on the 4 yellows, and then, I don't know, it just seems to be other priorities all the time. So that Semenyo to Schade move was kind of in the plans before last game week. And then obviously we've got the Bruno Fernandes injury and the Szoboszlai suspension in the mix now. So yeah, I had planned that move before, and it's still an option because I've got so many transfers, but I just think this week, with Semenyo playing Brentford away, I don't mind that fixture. He's been delivering the points, which doesn't usually play a huge factor to me, but I just don't feel the need to make that transfer this week. And I think with the tight fixture schedule, it'd probably pay off to have those 3 transfers carried over. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Just those 2 moves. I think the only other point I'd mention is that I think for enabling the Ekitike move, I think Enzo Lefebvre is a great pick. I think he's on my watch list. I'm just waiting for the right time for my team to, if I ever need him, to be able to make a different move. He's definitely the option sitting there for midfield that I would point out as a standout option that doesn't work for my team right now, but I think a lot of people should be looking at him. I think that's everything from me. Obviously, coming into the busy Christmas period, so lots of fun and games and rotation to emerge, but we'll see how it plays out. And I hope you all have a great Christmas. I hope you all have a great game week, and I will see you in the next video.